Good morning, everyone. We're going to have another one of our Final Cut TV and Coffees Saturday morning at 10 o'clock here on the East Coast of the good old USA. But first, I have to do some Final Cut TV and Coffees Saturday morning. I have to do some maintenance, as I usually do. Spread the word out on social media. That's the first thing that I have to do. So let's do that. Post a couple places, and then I will be right back. Be back in 3 minutes. And here we are, Final Cut TV and Coffee, our Saturday morning worldwide community catch-up on Final Cut Pro, all Final Cut Pro related stuff. So one of the things we're going to talk about a couple of things today. Whatever you want to talk about, we will talk about that as well. Final Cut Pro related. Just shared your stream on Instagram stories. That's interesting. Thank you very much for doing that. Share. So we're going to talk about the Final Cut little mini doc that came out a couple weeks ago. And we had Eric on the show last Saturday. He interviewed me in the documentary as well. It's, the one that's called Cutting Edge, Moving Slow. Got a lot of attention, a lot of views. So we'll talk about that. If you have any comments about that, we're also going to talk about the Vision Pro, which is coming out next week. And we're also going to talk about the CapCut. I've been toying around with CapCut recently. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I've been toying around with CapCut recently, so it's certainly an interesting NLE, and it's for a lot of parts, a lot of places it's free on the iPhone and the iPad, and you can get a free version, so that's pretty cool. So, and then we also have a couple of other things that are going on. Oh, so we had, let me show you what my what it looked like around here 10 days ago. This is what we had. This is what we looked like 10 days ago. We had 2 snows in a row. Not that big a snow, 2 snows in a row. This is what we look like today. This is the backyard today is indeed, let me just pull that up, is indeed a big difference. I'm going to do this and pull this down a little bit. There we go. Gamma. So this is what the backyard looks like right now. It's going to be spring here in 6 weeks, something like that. But right now, actually this weekend, we were up into the 70s. So it was very, very, very warm. One of the things that I bought just recently, we're going to talk about all the stuff we talked about. Wait for a few more people to come around. One of the things that I talked about that I bought recently is this. I got the new DJI Mic 2, which is fantastic. Fantastic. I have a page up on my website comparing the DJI Mic 1 to the DJI Mic 2. And a couple of the key points. Number one is box locks now. Has a lock to it. So it doesn't just fall out if you turn it upside down. It also records 32-bit float now, and it connects via Bluetooth to iPhones. You don't even need the receiver. And a couple of other things that are really, really good. But I bought it because I'm such a fan of the DJI Mic 1 that I'm going to sell now, and I have these two. Oh, the other thing is it has a bigger screen and a little dial, a click dial, to navigate through the menus. You don't have to just do it with your fingers. And of course, it has the ability just to connect right to the phone. You don't need a cable like you do with other solutions. It just does this. Done. Connects to the phone. No cable. No cable whatsoever. That's one of the other things that I like about this. I don't want the cable hanging off and everything. Audio quality is superb. They've improved a lot of things. So, I picked up a Stream Deck XL this week. Love it. So here's a comment. How do you like the sound quality of this? I like the sound quality a lot. I like the sound quality of the DJI One. Now, here's the thing to consider. Sound quality is subjective, right? Sound quality is subjective. So if people who bought the Rode and are invested in the Rode, they're going to think theirs sounds better. I had the Rode 1 and 2. Nothing wrong with the sound quality whatsoever. Sound quality is fine. But the whole Rode system is very clunky. It's just clunky all over the place. So I don't like the fact that I have to deal with all the clunkiness day in and day out, day in and day out. The transmitter is twice the size of the DJI. The DJI 2 has noise reduction. The Rode doesn't have noise reduction anymore. They both take, I want to show you this. They both take lapel mics. The DJI has a locking, the Rode has a locking lapel situation. However, I don't have any locking lapel microphones. I have regular microphones, lapels, and I get right angle ones and it plugs in like this. And the DJI now has a clip. So the wire goes underneath of the lapel clip. So there's no way it comes out. So the locking ability, you don't have to worry about it being pulled out. That's the solution. I don't have locking lapels. If you have locking lapels, that's fine. I don't have them. So I have this solution. Works fantastically. First off, I like right angles. So I get right angles and then you just put it under the clip and it doesn't fall out. But as far as the sound quality, everybody's going to have a difference of opinion because that's subjective. That's subjective. The DJI 1 and 2 are fantastic. The form factor is great. There's nothing. The Rode is fine too. It's just that it's clunkier. Like I said, the transmitter's twice as big as this transmitter. It doesn't plug into the end of the iPhone. You got to do the cable thing. The case itself, when you open this case up, you can see everything's reported to you. The status of all the batteries and everything. With the Rode, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's a whole bunch of reasons. Most of them are not about the sound, because the sound quality for what I use this for is fantastic. I use this for live situations, noisy situations. I use this at NAB. I use this at the Creative Summit. It's noisy. It's not a studio recording. If I want the best sound, if that's my top priority, I'm not going to use either one of these. I'm not going to use a wireless system. I'm going to use a wired microphone system. So if that's your top priority, use a wired mic. Wire it to your mic, to your thing. Don't have a wireless. Wireless is not as good as a wired system, but either one is fine. Either one is fine. DJI is great. Love them way more than the GoPros, and the mics are always high quality. They're completely fine. So he said, I was considering buying the cheaper Hollyland unless the advantage of the DJI is worth the extra money. The Hollyland looks pretty cool because they're really, really small, but you don't have any backup audio recording on them. You don't have a backup audio recording. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. You don't have a backup audio recording. You can't record in 32-bit. So if those things are important to you, don't get the Hollyland. Okay, the Hollyland doesn't have backup recordings. The DJI Mic 2 and the Rode Pro both have backup recordings. I had the Rode 1 and 2, both of them. I bought multiple sets. I sold them all when I got the DJI 1 because, like I said, it's a lot less clunky. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. So, but there's nothing, if you have the Rode, it's completely beautiful system. The quality is fine. If you're micro measuring the quality between the DJI 2 and the Rode Pro, it's subjective. It's completely subjective. You like the sound of one, you like the sound of the other. This works fine in all the situations that I have it. I only use this in live situations, although I did do a video recently with it because I was talking about the Bluetooth connectivity. I can connect this to my phone via Bluetooth. So what do you think? Big Bot Studios, hey there from Toronto, Canada. Are you having snow? Are you having snow? We're going to get some snow. I have a feeling we're going to get some snow in February. Usually February's the worst month for us here on the good old East Coast of the USA. So let me see what else we have. Big Bot says, no, just rain. We've had rain. Well, it's been very warm. Right now it's 51 degrees Fahrenheit here, so we're not going to get any snow. That's for sure. Did you get a chance to see the documentary, Cutting Edge? Moving Slow, Tony Oddjobs. I think the DJI mic setup is superior to the Rode setup. It's not only superior, well, yes, the setup, there's no question about it. The Rode they did not update their form factor for years. When I first got the Rode Wireless 1, they charged $19 for a magnet. They charged extra for the lightning cable. They charged all these extras, and that really turned me off to the Rode system. When the Rode 2 came out, I bought the Rode 2, sold the Rode 1. I even bought a white one. There's nothing wrong with them. For their time, when they came out, they're really good. But nowadays, they're too big. The transmitter is way too big. It's just too clunky. So that's my opinion on that. But the DJI mic setup is far superior from the clunkiness factor. I'm not talking about if you like the sound of the Rode better. That's subjective. I understand. That's fine. If you want the best sound, don't go with a wireless microphone. The documentary by Eric Lenz was fantastic and addressed many issues and feelings we all have as Final Cut Pro editors. So let's talk about that a bit. It's raised a lot of attention, a lot of commentaries, a lot of views, and from both sides, people saying, yes, they're going to resolve. No, they're not going to resolve. Recently, I've been toying around with CapCut. We're going to talk about CapCut in a little bit. It's a very, very cool social media video editor. It's very, very cool for YouTube and for Instagram and stuff. It has a lot of features that Final Cut doesn't have. I was surprised. It has voice. It has text to voice, for one. You can type out a short phrase and it'll speak whatever you type out. It has text-based, I think it has text-based editing and it's a lot of other things that Final Cut doesn't have. Now I'm expecting these things in Final Cut 10.7, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 as we go along the timeline of Final Cut Pro 10.7. We're going to talk about the documentary. Do you think there's likelihood that DJI will come out with a firmware version adding timecode output on the headphone jack? Good question. You know, the DJI, the Rode time code is not real. It's not real professional time code. All it does is comes out the audio port, and I think at times it makes time code on your audio, one of the audio tracks. That's not the way, you know, the real professionals do it. So although I did that on my recording studio, I had a 16-track tape deck and an 8-track, both of them Tascam. And I synced them both up via SMPTE time code. You had to stripe one track on each deck, and those two tracks would actually sync up. So I had effectively 22 tracks to record with on 2 separate reels. The 500 Pro, that is, the regular 500s are noisier and less reliable, less user-friendly. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, Ceramonic, I'm sorry. Here we go. I use the Ceramonic 500. It does not have backup recording, but works fine using my Lumix S9. That's completely fine. I've got to have a backup recording nowadays. Okay, that's one of the criteria, whether it's Rode or whether it's DJI. Both of them have backup recordings. So I have to have a backup recording. And here's the reason. If the transmission from the transmitter to your camera gets funky, gets interference, you've lost your audio. But not with these. With these, you have a backup recording on the transmitter itself. Because I record in live situations. Okay? I record in live situations. So I recorded NAB. I recorded the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Always dozens and dozens and hundreds of people around talking and chatting and stuff. So there's always noise. At NAB, it's sometimes the connection is very, very precarious. I've got to have a backup recording when I have these systems. And these, of course, these have them. So this records... These record 32-bit float, either 24-bit, which is 14 hours per transmitter, or 11 hours and 32-bit. I just leave them on 32-bit. There's no reason, 11 hours, I'm not going to record anything for 11 hours. So I have a backup recording, whether the transmission works, it gets interrupted or not. So that's why I like these. I'm a big fan of this system, and I'm not dedicated to any brand. I have Rode stuff. As a matter of fact, I like the Rode Reporter app that I use with this DJI system, because the Rode Reporter app, people that review this, and I've seen 3 people do it wrong, say that you can't connect this to the native iPhone camera app. You absolutely can. You absolutely can via Bluetooth. I'm sorry. You can't use a Bluetooth and connect to the iPhone camera app. Yes, you can. And I've done 2 videos demonstrating how you do that. You have to launch the Rode Reporter app first. Let it recognize the DJI Bluetooth connection, and then launch the iPhone video app, the camera app, and it's fine. It's fine. Just leave the Rode Reporter app running. I taught a little video workshop with teens. One was using CapCut, and I was amazed. I don't want to edit on a cell phone, but for the kids, amazing what they were doing. I basically gave them the old fogey best practices. So here's the thing. I have what's the right word? I don't have an allegiance to Apple. I don't have an allegiance to Final Cut, but I've been editing, not an allegiance. I would say I'm a proponent of Final Cut Pro. I've been editing with it for 20-some years. So when people say they're going to quit and go to DaVinci Resolve, they're going to quit and quit and quit and quit. If I went to DaVinci Resolve, I'm not going to quit Final Cut. I've already paid for it. Why would I quit it? I'm not going to tear it up and throw it away. It's there for me. Now, before the Creative Summit, things changed at the Creative Summit. for me and a lot of others that were there. Before the Creative Summit, I had a different attitude. It's been modified since the Creative Summit. I often talk about my expectations for Final Cut Pro were down here before the Creative Summit. Now they're mid-level. Now my expectations for Final Cut Pro are mid-level, and that's specifically because of the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Talking to the Final Cut Pro team, it reinvigorated my enthusiasm for Final Cut Pro. Talking to their Q&A when they talked about the future of Final Cut Pro. One of the things that they talked about at the Creative Summit, as a matter of fact, I brought it up. It's in the documentary, Cutting Edge, Moving Slow. One of the people brought up, well, let's see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that. Let me pull that one segment up, and then we'll talk about what I'm talking about. Let me go down here. Let me see. Nope, that goes up here. I'm rearranging my windows. Let me see if I can find that. Here it is. Now let me see if I can get that working. Do I have that available? 1 second. One second. Let me just check one thing. I might have to make a preference check. Oh, video, audio. Broadcast system audio all the time. Okay, I think that should work then. Let me just see if this is going to work. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if this is going to work.
I don't know how many licenses that.
Nope, it's not working. Let me go back to my, hold on a second. Let me go back to my, let me see if I can find that again.
Numbers that. CapCut is doing, I don't know.
Hold on 1 second. Let me go back there. You know what I'll do? I'll choose the file. Wait a second. I'll put the file up. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. So here is the one thing I wanted to talk about. What this guy says.
But when you look at a company like Apple that makes hardware products, even though they have a lot of software that is really important to them and makes them a lot of money, I can't imagine that Final Cut is one of them. And generally speaking, Apple makes software when other companies can't do it well with their hardware. And unfortunately, DaVinci Resolve and Blackmagic, they are doing that. So it would make absolute sense in my eyes if Final Cut did get the axe. I I don't even want to put that out into the world because I really never want that to happen. But
nonsense. That's what I say about that comment. I've been hearing that comment for a long, long time. Okay? Hear that comment for a long time. We had a Q&A with the Final Cut Pro team. Well, in the documentary, I say, why would they put out an iPad version if they're going to axe Final Cut? That doesn't make any sense. They spend years developing an iPad version if they're going to axe Final Cut. That's what I said in the doc. We had a Q&A with the Final Cut Pro team at the Creative Summit. They said, any questions? I raised my hand and said, I have a question. The first thing I did was I thanked them for whoever developed. I said, which one over you on the panel let the scrolling timeline come out? Thank you very much. Then I said, a lot in the Final Cut Pro community are concerned that Final Cut is going the way of Aperture. I asked them point blank. They saw me. I walked up the aisle. I had the microphone. I said, people in the Final Cut community are concerned that Final Cut Pro is going to get the axe the way that Aperture did. Number one, Apple warned Aperture users 6 months ahead of time, 7 months, 8 months ahead of time, that they were indeed going to be the end of life of Aperture. They didn't just drop it. They did not drop it. They warned users that Aperture was going to be end of life. When I brought this up to the Final Cut Pro team about Aperture and Final Cut Pro, this is what they said. They said, not only is that's not going to happen, we have plans for Final Cut Pro for the next 6 months, and we have plans for Final Cut Pro for the next 5 or 6 years. For the next 5 or 6 years. Now, is it a possibility that something happens with Final Cut? Yes, a slim possibility. I would be extremely disappointed. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I would be extremely disappointed in Apple if they, did anything like that. I can't see it happen. Can't see it happening. Let's go back and catch up on some of these. Comments. A lot of comments. Let me see. Let's do some of these comments. When you airdrop video from the 5 Pro Max to MacBook Pro, Final Cut Pro cannot see the clip. All you see is missing plugin where the clip should be. Apple must fix. I've had problems with airdrop, so I try to use a direct connection over the years. I use the Zoom H6 for backup. I use 2 audio and 2 cameras on 95% of my shoots to save me on bad audio from one or more something strange from the camera. But I don't need to carry an extra piece of equipment. I don't need the Zoom. I have the backup right here in this tiny, tiny little transmitter. 11 hours of 32-bit float. I don't need to carry an extra piece of equipment. I don't want to carry more equipment. I want to carry less equipment. If I was doing a professional shoot, that's different. But I'm talking about going live at NAB and live at the Creative Summit. If I'm doing a professional shoot, shooting with multiple cameras, I would probably have a backup dedicated audio recording. But that's not what I use these for, although I can. So I understand that. YouTube channel Post-Production Professional had a great comparison between the scrolling timeline in Final Cut Pro, DaVinci, and Premiere that shows why it was great that Apple waited with their version. Ben Bowser says, I always use Final Cut AirDrop daily, and Final Cut Pro has always recognized the clips. Here's what I've had problems with. I don't use the Final Cut Pro import window. I just don't use it, especially with iPhone footage, and I've had it repeated for years. It isn't specifically with one version of Final Cut. I'll import the media on my phone, completely imported, everything's fine. The next day I'll go back, open up the project, all the media will be offline. All the iPhone media will be offline. Sitting in my media folder where it belongs. The phone was not disconnected before it downloaded. It'll all be offline. It happened dozens of times to me. Different versions of Final Cut, so I don't even use the import window anymore. AirDrop is okay. It's my second choice, but since we have a USB-C connection on these phones, I just use USB-C either to a separate hard drive, which is my favorite is the Crucial X9 Pro, this little teeny thing, 4 terabytes of data. So if I can either offload to this and then connect this to my MacBook Pro or directly. AirDrop's okay, but I like the direct connection better. I updated to 10.7.1 the other day, and now Command Post, which I use all the time, is giving me errors for batch exporting. Ben Bowser says, update Command Post. That sounds like a great solution. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. Why the heck doesn't Final Cut Pro make it easy to batch export timeline files individually? Before I answer that, let's get a sip of our coffee. Good question. Good question. It's one of the things that I want to see in, let me put this up here. It's one of the things that I want to see in Final Cut Pro. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. And also go over there and subscribe over there at my YouTube channel. Subscribe. It's all that stuff's appreciated. All of it is. So Jeff says, is CapCut only on phones? No, CapCut's on phones, on iPads, and the desktop, and the cloud. Now, when I do LumaFusion, I love using my phone. When I'm at NAB and I film some clips and I edit them together, I want to put a watermark on them or whatever, check the audio, color correct. Like if I film an Apple log, thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. When I film an Apple log, I can apply a LUT in LumaFusion to the footage and then export it, for YouTube, for live streaming. Ben, it used to work for me until I got the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Is that the phone you use? I don't think Ben has a 515. I think he has a 14. I use a native image capture program. I use that too. That's one of my favorites. I'll drag and drop from the image capture to a folder on the Finder, and I'll do that a lot. But I connect via USB. That's the difference. If you do the math, as Philip Hodges has, Final Cut Pro makes tons of money off. Well, I've done the math, Ben. Here's the math. 2018, they said they had 2.5 million seats of Final Cut Pro. 2018, 2.5 million. This is 2024. So this is 6 years later. 2.5 million in 2018. They've at least got to be 4 million, if not 5 million seats of Final Cut Pro at this time. Between 2017 and 2018, they gained 500,000 seats. 500,000 seats. 2017 was 2 million. 2018 was 2.5 million. So if you extrapolate that, even conservatively, let's say 5 million seats of Final Cut Pro 6 years later. 5 million seats, it could be more, could be 6 or 7, but 5 million seats is 1.5 billion with a B dollars. $1.5 billion that Final Cut has made for Apple. Let alone, you can't use Final Cut without an iPad or a Mac. So besides selling the software, 1.5 billion, it's probably closer to 2 billion. You also buy hardware to support it, of course. Image capture for AirDrop. No, image capture when you connect your phone directly into your Mac. You can drag files off of it to the Finder. You can do batch drop, absolutely. I've been reading some reviews that say the audio quality on the DJI mic is subpar compared to the Rode mic. Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. I've listened to those reports. Like I said, the audio quality is subjective. It's subjective. If you bought the Rode system, you think the Rode is better. If you bought the DJI system, you think that the DJI mic is fine. It is fine. I've had Rode systems. I know what the Rode sounds like. I've heard the comparisons. Nonsense. It's subjective. It's subjective. I use the DJI, and I love it. It is so much less clunky. It's not clunky like the Rode system is. The Rode system is very, very clunky. It's just dealing with that day in and day out. I can't deal with it. I sold the system, and like I said, if the best quality is your criteria, use a wired microphone. Don't use a wireless system. If that's your number one priority, don't use a wireless system. Use a wired system. So let me show you let me show you something here. So let's go over there. I made a comparison. Over here at my site. Let's look at this. Okay, here's a comparison. So the improvements between the DJI version 2 versus 1, look at the list of improvements. 32-bit float, RX, the receiver dial, which I really like, slightly larger touchscreen, direct Bluetooth connectivity to phone and DJI devices, intelligent noise cancellation, 18 plus hours, connect to both receiver and Bluetooth and switch between the two. You can have both of them set up and just switch back and forth between either Bluetooth connection or the receiver. Built-in gain presets tailored to specific camera models, etc., etc. Stronger, thicker magnets, white cord, blah, blah, blah. By comparison to the Rode soft case, so this is, at the beginning of it, I said, caution, humor ahead. So this is humor, okay? This is humor. If you compare this case with the Rode case looks like a baking potato with a zipper. That's what it reminds me of compared to the DJI superb case. But here's the other thing. There's lots of reports that say the DJI is better than Rode. So here's some of the things why I like the Rode better. Much smaller. The transmitter's much smaller. When you open the Rode case, there's nothing. It's just the three transmitters. When you open the DJI case, you can see the reports of the status of each transmitter and the receiver, battery life, connectivity, etc., etc. Which one of these are better? Which one of these are better? Which one of these are better? Do you like the smaller size or the bigger size? I like the smaller size. This is another thing. Look, this is the Rode non-touchscreen. This is the DJI touchscreen. The Rode, you have to look down on the camera to see it. The Rode, you look straight at the camera to see it. Okay, this is what the Rode looks like. The Rode Direct Connect USB-C mounts to the phone. And the DJI. Rode does not have intelligent noise cancellation, Bluetooth connectivity. It does not have haptic feedback. It doesn't have that situation where you got to put this clip on the back to make it magnetic. It's just built in, on and off, on and off. So there's a lot of reasons. Once again, these are all clunky. The clunkiness of the Rode system is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the quality of the microphone system, because that is subjective. If you like the Rode better, that's fine. If you like the DJI better or say it's just as good, that's fine. If audio is your primary concern, quality audio, don't use a wired system. Use a wired microphone to your recorder. So that's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with the Rode system. It's just not, it's too clunky for me. There's too many things that I don't like about the Rode system. Not talking about the quality of the recording. I dropped to external hard drives anyway, wired. That's an iPhone 15 thing, I guess. Richard, have to try the new beta V3 of iMazing. Huh. Okay, that's fantastic. I use iMazing. I've used it in the past, but recently I've just been using the image capture app, so I'll have to try that because I do have iMazing, but I'm not going to rent it. If it's subscription only, I'm not going to do it. If they have an option for me to upgrade from the version that I have to the version 3, thanks for that tip, by the way. I forgot all about that. Using Tascam DL10L for 2 years now, we'll never use anything else. Great location labs, absolutely. If you're doing a sit-down, controlled situation, you're doing a shoot. If you're doing run and gun in NAB and run and gun at the Creative Summit, I'm not going to bring an extra device just to record audio. I can record 32-bit audio. I don't even need the receiver. I can just put this on anybody, hook it to my shirt, and it records natively by itself. If I'm doing a controlled shoot, that's a different story. That's not what I use these. I can use these for that as well, but this is run and gun stuff for me. And I would use wired microphones. That's what I'm keep saying. I'm rocking a nice Sumatra blend in my coffee today. I'm using, my newest thing is I use Italian roast, and I really, really like it. As Agent Cooper said on Twin Peaks, black as the night on a moonless night. That's what I like my coffee. Black, but I do put cream in it so it tastes like chocolate milk. Working on fast breaking news headline. Every minute counts. I have the latest iPhone, MacBook Pro, and Final Cut Pro off. Apple changed something that's for it. I don't doubt that that's a possibility. So one of the things we're expecting is Final Cut Pro 10.7.2. I am. And I think it could be out this coming week. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I think it could be out this coming week because of the Vision Pro. I'm with you. Less is better. If I'm shooting an actor for narrative film, I notice people using boom mics. Yes, absolutely. But I can just use the wireless mics. If so, have to clip on actor where it's noticeable. No, you can use the lapel mic. You can plug lapel mic into the transmitter, and wherever you normally would put it, like for example, if I'm wearing this jacket and I'm an actor, I can hide a lapel under here where you don't see it. A lapel mic under here, you won't see it, and it'll still pick up. It's plenty close. And then put a body pack somewhere in the back. So whatever way you use lapel mics, you can certainly do that with both the Rode and the DJI. I just like the DJI because a ton of things over the Rode. Bluetooth connectivity. The DJI has haptic feedback. When you change the setting, the thing vibrates. Rode doesn't have that. It's a whole bunch of things. Go to my website, Richard Taylor TV, and there's an article on there comparing them. Audio quality is subjective. I'm not going to say that one is superior over the other. I'm saying the DJI audio is fine. If you like the way the Rode sounds better, that's fine. That's fine. I can adjust something in post if it's a little bit different. Sometimes the Rode seems like it has a little more bass, then I'll adjust it in post. Is CapCut really free? Is better than LumaFusion? No, LumaFusion's a more advanced NLE, leaps and bounds more advanced than CapCut. But CapCut has a lot of neat features. LumaFusion, you pay $29 once, or if you get it on special, you pay $19. $19, and that's it for LumaFusion itself. Then you get multicam, you can add that on. You can get Final Cut Pro Export, you can add that on. One-time purchases. But CapCut is very, very interesting, especially for social media. Another week for me, another annoying Final Cut Pro bug that's been there since day one that I have to contend with daily. What is that? What is that? What's the bug? Our friend Yari says, the makers of CapCut and TikTok, Chinese ByteDances, collect quite a lot of your data, so beware when choosing an NLE. I forgot about that, Yari. That's a good point. That's a good point. It is the Chinese government that is running both of those. Even though it's a private company, I didn't realize CapCut was that. It's a private company. The Chinese government has complete control over them, no matter what they say. What bug are you talking about? For those discussing CapCut, iMovie for iPhone is pretty good for most basic editing. It's excellent for VOs, and it includes a meter. The major weakness is limited title options. Okay. When you select a block of text and paste over it, and the text on the line before it is a different font, it inherits the font on the line before, not the text you selected. Okay. Wondering if you can trust the contours when editing in Final Cut Pro and Vision Pro. If possible, whether or not you can wear it for extended periods of time without headset fatigue. We'll find out going forward, won't we, this week? I think it's coming out the 2nd, February the 2nd, and today is the 27th, so 5 or 6 days. Next Friday, right? Coming out next Friday. People are going to get it in their hands next Friday. Here's the bug that he's saying about the text. Sour cream optional. Oh, he's talking about, let me go back there. He's talking about this. I compared the DJI Pro clunky case to a baked potato with a zipper, because that's what it reminds me of. Baked potato with a zipper, compared to this beautiful aluminum metal locking case. That's what he's talking about. Sour cream optional. I've been doing lots of text graphics lately, and I got that same problem. Hey, zippers are the latest fashion trends for potatoes. iMazing is still a one-time purchase. I will definitely get the update. There's a few pieces of software that I willingly do subscriptions. Ecamm Live, which we're streaming from live, is one of them, right? Ecamm Live. Do you know Ecamm Live? Let's look at Ecamm Live. Here. This is my 34-inch LG monitor. I'm a one-man band. This is my 34-inch LG monitor. These are all the screens that I take care of. You can see right here below me is my audio levels. That's how I tell if I've muted myself or not. Over there, you can see I'm watching the bandwidth, the internet bandwidth, rolling required bandwidth. I'm streaming to 3 platforms, so I have to watch that. I have scenes, I have auditions, I have your comments over here. These are the comments as I see them as they come in, and I can add them to the, let me show you. I do run and gun and get amazing sound. That's how I add it. I just click on it and add it. I can also ban somebody if they're misbehaving right over here. Just click that and it'll ban you from the channel. I can do it very, very quickly. Do you have problems hiding the wireless mic on people? Here's what I do. Let me show you. So I'm not even a fan of this, okay? If I'm doing a demo of the DJI mic, which I've done recently, I'll do it. Here's what I do. I put the mic on the inside of my shirt, and that way all you see is the magnet. So I'll do this, and all you'll see, put the magnet here, and all you see is this little teeny magnet. Now, it doesn't cut off anything. I mean, it's just like having a wind muff on. So when I'm outside, I'll do this. When I'm inside different places, I prefer this look, personally, than the mic being on the outside. Now this drives me crazy being an audio guy. I don't know how many people I've seen hook them up like this and it's pointed sideways. No. Talk directly into the microphone. At the very least, point it up like this. Point it up. But I like it pointed straight up. I can also go from the side and inside here and hide it probably completely, because I could take the magnet under my lapel and you'd never see it. So there the microphone is here, pointed at my mouth. You don't even see the magnet. But if you want to hide it, if you absolutely want to hide it, use a small lapel and hide that somewhere. I felt energized whenever you show the coffee. Here you go. I'm a big coffee person. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I'm a retired TV producing, hiding a tiny lab, very easily on anyone. It's not difficult. Exactly. I used to be I was the A1 audio person at the National Archives when I was down there. Everybody was afraid to do audio, afraid to do live audio. Well, I'm used to it, so I did it. I did Obama, for example. I did Michelle Obama. I did President Obama. I did the sound for all that stuff. So we could hide labs pretty effectively. Got used to it down there. I like that Rhodes comes with lapel mics included. They have for $50 more. That's correct. Cost $50. The Rode mics are $400 and the DJI are $350, but the DJI One mics are $250, so they're even cheaper. I need to get them lapel mics. Also, is anybody having a problem with Final Cut Pro waveforms redrawing? I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. How do you connect the lapel to the DJI? I have a lapel from my Sennheiser, which I can't get to work on my 15 Pro Max, the Sennheiser wireless, that is. You just plug it in. Where's my cable? Where did my cable go? Oh, I'll just use this cable. So just pretend this is a lapel mic cable. First off, they've added a little space under there that you can run your cable through, and then just plug it in, just like that. So it's not a locking one, which I agree. Locking ones, if you're professional, you might prefer them, but this isn't going anywhere. This connection's not going anywhere. It's under the mic clip. They designed that specifically, and I like right angle clips for this. So this would be on your body somewhere, and then you run your cable up in for the talent, whatever they want. I have a very funny story about miking people up at National Archives. I have a couple of funny stories. What's iMazing? iMazing is a piece of software to get media off of your phone to your Mac, or the other way around. It's dedicated to getting media off, because there's been problems in the past. I mean, I use image capture for the most part, but I have to go back. I do have iMazing. I'll have to go back and see that. I can't believe that Mac OS will not let you transfer individual files in Blackmagic Cam through the Finder. Hence, iMazing. No idea what the upgrade deal will be for B-Thrower. But you can, that's another point. You can get, you don't need a piece of software to get audio off of these. You plug this into your iPhone, to your MacBook Pro with the USB-C cable. It mounts as a hard drive. No software needed. Zero. This mounts as a hard drive. Select all the audio files, drag them over all at the same time. That's another thing. You don't need any software. Everything's done on the touch panel of this. Much better. Yeah, no, I understand. If you see, Jeff, it's two different situations. If I have a studio setting, that's a different story. That's a different story. I'm probably going to use a lapel. Okay, thank you very much for the thumbs up. I'm probably going to use a wired lapel and hide it the best I can. But I use these 80% of the time for run and gun. I'm at NAB. I'm running around. There's hundreds, literally hundreds of people around everywhere, and I'm not going to carry an extra piece of audio gear with me. When I use the DJI mics, or if you use the Rode mics, you have a backup recording, 32-bit recording on the device itself, and you have a recording of the audio to the camera. I don't want an extra piece of gear. But if I'm doing a studio setting, that's a different story. For example, I recorded bands live at my studio. I have a thing where I do a garage concert series in late summer. I have dozen microphones everywhere. But they're all wired, and I do a complete independent mix. So I know how to do that. And the studio setting would be the same thing. I might use these wireless connections, but I'll have constant monitoring of it with headphones because I'm behind the camera. But when I'm running and gunning, no, I'm going to just clip it on and go, clip it on and go. If I have to interview, last time I interviewed Sam Messman at the OWC booth, set up my monopod. I keep my mic on me the whole time and recording the entire time I'm there. It records all day. It just stays on. But the talent, I go to Sam, put the mic on under his shirt, the magnet, done. Listen for the audio, make sure it's recording. But in each case, you have two backup recordings, and I'm ready to go. I don't have to run wires and cables and run, where am I going to put the lapel and stuff like that. So it's run and gun that I'm talking about, not a studio setting. I wouldn't use these necessarily in a studio setting. But I don't like if I have a choice, I don't want this on the outside. I want it underneath the shirt. And it's like I said, it's just like having a wind muff on. So it's not that big a deal. I use it outside that way all the time. So what did you think about, thank you very much for the thumbs up. What did you all think about cutting edge moving slow? There's both sides of this. It's got like 24,000 views right now. It's only been like a little over a week. I had Eric on last week on this show, Final Cut TV and Coffee. And there's some things that were said in there. I think the Final Cut Bro said that he was going to, if Resolve gets this one thing, he's going to switch to Resolve. I'm not switching. I'm not switching. Before the Creative Summit, this is what I said. I said, if the less Final Cut Pro gets updated, the more time that I'll spend in DaVinci Resolve. Okay? Well, since 10.7 comes out, I'm spending more time in Final Cut Pro 10.7. My expectation used to be down here. Now they're up here. They're up to mid-level. I want to keep on seeing improvements in Final Cut Pro 10. Final Cut Pro 10.7.2 should be coming out, I think, this coming week. I think it'll come out this coming week. It might come out the Thursday before this coming Thursday, right, the day before the Vision Pro. And once again, no matter what, it won't please everybody. But I just want to keep on reiterating, the era of Final Cut Pro 10.7 is here. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. The era of Final Cut Pro 10.7 is here. Okay? Let me play this for everybody while you're listening. Because this is something that I'm proud of. So I've been working on this for a while. Let me pull this up. That's not what I wanted. Here we go, over here. Oh, here we go. So this is a music project that I'm working on. I just started working on this. Let me pull this up. Turn this off. Oh, here we go. I just started, this is a project that I'm working on. I put a little clip up on my, on Facebook and Twitter. Now that's a song that I'm working on. It's an original song that I wrote. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. You people are the best. A lot of thumbs up. A lot of thumbs up. It is appreciated. Old school. Can't use image capture on the Mac to transfer files to the Blackmagic camera if you're storing your files in the app's internal storage. Can you? I don't use the Blackmagic Cam. Let me think about that for a second. I misinterpreted what you were saying. If you record to external storage, you can, because you just plug the external storage in. From image capture, yeah. Probably not. Probably not. I don't know if is there an option? If there's an option to record to the Photos app, I don't know. I use what works. These stuff in Final Cut that's good, and there's stuff in DaVinci that's good. So I say use what you need in any combination, absolutely. So I've got a huge interview-heavy project coming up, and I'm currently testing both Premiere and Resolve to switch over to. I really need to have a text-based editing solution. Sad to ditch Final Cut Pro. You don't have to ditch it. You don't have to ditch it. It's there for you when you're ready for it. What DAW for the music? That was Logic Pro. Logic Pro. Yes, that's me. There's 2 guitar players on that track, me and my guitarist Tim, and we both change back and forth, lead rhythm, both of us. Do you think we'll get a new Final Cut Pro update on February the 2nd? Absolutely. Well, do I think it? Yes. Is it definite? No. It's what I think is going to happen. It just makes sense. We should have 10.7.2. Sounds old school. I like old school drums from the time when the musicians knew how to play an instrument. Absolutely. Nowadays, it's like computers are writing songs. Hopefully, text-based editing will come to Final Cut Pro soon. As a matter of fact, didn't they just announce, thank you very much for the thumbs up, it's appreciated. Didn't they just announce the text-based editing for iPodcast on the phone or something? Didn't they just announce that in Mac OS or iOS? So I know they have to be working on text-based editing / auto captioning. They have to be working on that. So, look, we've never had as many NLEs as we can do professional work on that we have right now. Okay? Now, the major ones are, of course, Final Cut Pro, which is my preference. And then you have Avid, and then you have Premiere, and then you have Resolve. I think those are the 4 majors, okay? 4 major ones. I prefer Final Cut Pro. I've used Avid, I've used Premiere, but not a long time ago for Premiere. I don't like Premiere because of the Avid subscription model. And I have a studio version of DaVinci Resolve. I can go in between any of those. But I like Final Cut, especially since 10.7, since they had the scrolling timeline, especially. Tim Cook gets Tonight Report, everybody who has read the Final Cut Pro documentation and what they were reading about it. The truth is out there. I don't think so. I don't think Tim Cook's too concerned about Final Cut Pro. I would be surprised, pleasantly surprised if he was. I would be pleasantly surprised, but we know that there's been more interest in Final Cut Pro. Steve Jobs was involved with Final Cut Pro. I don't think Tim Cook's that concerned with Final Cut Pro, although I'd like for him to be. I know people on the Pro Apps team, and they say text-based editing is definitely coming, but not very soon, for what that's worth. Okay, well, it is coming. For the time being, you can use Lumberjack systems for text-based editing. Transcriptive Transcription, what is that one from our friends Altimedia? It's not a text-based editor, it's just a caption generator. I really wish Final Cut Pro would just add these features that everybody else has already. What's the holdup? Good question. I want more features faster. Everybody wants more features faster. So, one thing the Final Cut Pro team, thank you very much for the thumbs up. One thing the Final Cut Pro said, and I'm glad they said this because I appreciate the honesty. They said they're going to add features to Final Cut Pro on their schedule. It's on their schedule, the Final Cut Pro team. Yes, they read the comments. Yes, they see social media posts. Yes, they see all that, and everything's taken into consideration. You know, hope it wouldn't take 10 years. I don't think it'll take 10 years. I think we'll see text-based editing in Final Cut Pro 10.7. The era of Final Cut Pro 10.7 is here, and I think we'll see text-based editing in one of these updates. One of these point updates, 10.7 point something. I don't even want more features. I just want Final Cut Pro to be on par with the other major NLEs. Well, but you're talking about features, though. Text-based editing would be a feature, right? A scrolling timeline is a feature that Premiere has, that Avid has, that Resolve doesn't have it. They have it on the cut page, I think. They don't have it on the edit page, and I wish they would get it. Logic has a scrolling timeline. Motion has a scrolling timeline. iMovie on the iPad had a scrolling timeline. I don't know what the current situation is. The only thing that doesn't have a scrolling timeline now is Final Cut on the iPad. There we go. LumaFusion, much better than Final Cut Pro. Why use Final Cut when you love LumaFusion versus Final Cut on the iPad? They're both fine NLEs. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. They're both completely fine. I prefer LumaFusion. I've been using it for 5 or 6 years, so I prefer it. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Final Cut on the Mac is the way I prefer my version of Final Cut. I prefer Final Cut on the Mac. The Mac is more powerful than the iPad, has more memory, screens, and I'm used to it. Final Cut for the iPad is missing 40 features that Final Cut for the Mac has. So keep that in mind. But every time I see Final Cut for the iPad, I really, really like it. Like I said, we've had so many options for NLEs now. We have Final Cut on the Mac, Final Cut for the iPad. We have LumaFusion for the iPad, but LumaFusion also is on the iPhone. LumaFusion is also on Android. LumaFusion is also on Chromebooks. So, and it's on the Mac. If you bought the one license for LumaFusion, you can use it on the Mac. It's not developed for the Mac, but they allow it to be on the Macintosh, M1 Macs, M1 or M2 Macs. So speaking of that, I'm looking forward to getting a new Mac at some point, but I haven't decided if it'll be a Mac 3 Studio, M3 Studio, or if I see a good sale on one of the M3 MacBook Pros, 16-inch, I'll probably pick it up. But I'm in no hurry. This M1, I have an M1 MacBook Pro, it's top of the line, everything except for the SSD. I got the 4 terabyte SSD, and I'll probably spring for an 8 terabyte SSD next time because that thing is just constantly getting filled up. Just arrived. I heard somebody speculate that Apple has a big focus on spatial computing, which would include spatial video editing in Final Cut Pro. Well, a big focus, I don't think that the Vision Pro is going to be a big product at launch. It's not going to be nearly as big as the iPhone, probably not nearly as big as any Apple product, not even MacBooks or whatever. So I think it's going to be appropriately important. It could be the future. We'll have to see. Spatial computing, I don't think there's a big focus on it. I think there's an appropriate levels focus. Considering how usage to scrolling timeline in Premiere and DaVinci, according to comparison I've seen, I'd rather wait until it's done properly. Yeah, but 12 years, and Logic has it. They've had it all along. And Motion has it. And they've had it all along. And it took 12 years for the Final Cut Pro team to get Motion. But that doesn't make any difference at this point. Thank you for having it. Final Cut Pro team, you watch these live streams. By the way, they do. I know they do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give applause for the Final Cut Pro team, right? Yes. We want to give a round of applause for the Final Cut Pro team. Especially since the Creative Summit. I understand, but I want them to step up. Everybody wants them to step up their putting the features out. Don't be too conservative. Get them out there. Get the stuff out there. So this is an interesting. I've experienced spatial video, not on that expensive Apple Vision Pro, but other AV VR headsets. It's amazing, but I'm putting together a spatial video film project. Right. I find that screen on my 15 Pro Max too small when using LumaFusion. I might try to get used to it if it can work with ProRes log files that I want. Yes. So here's the thing. I thought the same thing. And then, but when I'm relaxing in my studio, I'll use the iPad. The other thing is the LumaFusion runs on older iPads. I have a 4-year or 5-year-old iPad Air, and I can edit with LumaFusion on it. Final Cut Pro for the iPad requires the most current stuff. So yes, normally I'll use the iPad, bigger screen, etc. When I'm at NAB, thank you very much for the thumbs up. When I'm at NAB and I'm filming ProRes log on my beautiful iPhone 15 Pro Max with its 3 great lenses, I don't want to have to export it to the MacBook Pro. I edit it right on the iPhone. Basic stuff, not 20-minute documentaries for me, but basic stuff. If I do a couple of clips, I'll sit down, throw them together in LumaFusion, export the file, upload it to YouTube. It's much easier than airdropping, connecting, etc., etc. So that's when I use the phone. It's very, very effective. Watch some tutorials on LumaFusion on the iPhone. You'll be surprised. There's nothing missing on the iPhone version of LumaFusion versus the iPad version of LumaFusion. It's feature parity 100%. I was hoping the Vision would run off Mac OS, but now they make Final Cut for Vision. They will be charging a high monthly subscription. I doubt that. No, I don't want to even talk about that. I don't want to give them any ideas. That was brought up at their Q&A. They didn't commit one way or the other. No monthly subscription for Final Cut Pro. Period. Final Cut Pro team, thumbs down. No subscription for Final Cut Pro. Period. You want to see backlash, try charging a subscription. Now, subscription as an option, that's fine. But no subscription. Don't cram it down our throats. I have definitely heard that Final Cut developers are frustrated they're being directed to develop Vision Pro features that are taken away from the time to develop other features. I agree with that, especially if I was a developer. They tell me that a lot of the things people are asking for would be released already if it wasn't for iPad and Vision Pro development. Another excuse like they were making Final Cut Junior for iPad and they can't spend time updating Final Cut Pro. I agree. I was surprised that it seems like Final Cut for iPad, Final Cut Junior was taking up resources from the Final Cut Pro team. I wish it didn't. I wish they had a separate department for the iPad version. Not sure I'd be able to handle my style of editing since it's hard for my M1 Max with 32 gigabytes to have a hard time handling. Not sure Vision would blah, blah, blah. I have 64 with my M1 Max. 64 gigabytes of RAM. That's the most that I could get at that time. Wouldn't you have loved to have built-in text-based editing when you're working on RAS, Richard? How did you know about RAS? That means I know you. Ah, that gives me a clue as to your secret identity out there in LA. So anyway, I have a documentary that I've done. We're going to have our second. We only shown it in the theater with the AFI, American Film Institute Theater in Silver Spring at the Silver Theater. We've only had one showing of it. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. One showing of it is coming back this year. We're doing a second showing this year. So, yeah, anything, text-based editing, anything with dialogue. It's for dialogue. It's not for shooting music videos. It's not for filming concerts. You're not going to use text-based editing for that. It's going to be useless. But for dialogue editing, interviews, absolutely, absolutely. It's really, really good. I initially got Descript for that reason. They had 10 hours of, I'm checking the time, 10 hours of text-based transcription per month for the monthly fee. So that's what I got Descript for originally. Now I've kept it. Because I don't know why. I still edit some audio in it. It has a really, really good audio editing system. Their editing system, what makes Descript different than everybody else, it goes through and transcribes all your dialogue, okay? It attaches all the captions of your transcription in a timeline to the waveform that it's attached to. So the captions are attached to the waveform audio. If you move the caption, the waveform goes with it. That is a fantastic, fantastic feature. I really like that. If you take a word and you move it, the waveform of the audio goes with the caption in the timeline. That's why I like that. When they first showed Vision Pro, they had a person sitting with a physical keyboard looking at something that could be a Final Pro timeline projected into space. That's correct. I don't know what the deal is with Final Cut Pro and the Vision Pro, if it's going to be a separate app, if it's going to be use it from the Mac, have no idea. I really don't care about that. I have no intentions of buying a Vision Pro, especially just to do, listen, I understand if you buy multiple monitors, high quality monitors, that's the price of the Vision Pro, right? It's just that it's more to me, if I had the Vision Pro, it would be when I'm working by myself in a separate room. I don't want to have to, if my girlfriend comes to the door and says something, I don't want to have to look at her with goggles on. That's not what I want to do. That's too weird. Take them off and look at her. So by myself, yes, perhaps. I'm not buying them though. My $3,500 would be going for a new MacBook Pro, or I might get a new iPad Pro when they come out in 2024, and then wait another generation, wait for the M4 chips for the MacBook Pro, or a really good sale on the M3. Yeah, I'm doing lots of music vids that I don't need text-based editing, but then we shoot interview like BTS afterwards, then I need it bad. Absolutely. Do you edit with the Stream Deck? Let me, can I show you this? Here. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got a Stream Deck that I'm using right now. Edit with the Stream Deck. I use the Stream Deck in place of the Finder. I launch my apps from my Stream Deck. My vision is getting worse, so I have trouble seeing small icons. A subscription would be nice to support ongoing improvements in Final Cut Pro, for example, 10.8 and above could be subscription-based, while versions below 10.8 would not require a subscription. Thumbs down on that idea. Here's why. Let me buy 10.8. Let me pay an upgrade price from 10.7 to 10.8. I don't think it's going to happen in 10.8. I think it might happen in version 11. I don't want Final Cut Pro going subscription only. If Final Cut Pro wins subscription only, you'd see a complete major backlash against Final Cut Pro at that point. Now, the Final Cut Pro team, keep that in mind. If you offered it as an option, different story. Subscription only, don't cram it down our throats. Don't cram it down our throats the way Adobe does. No. Highly invested in Final Cut Pro plugins, so hopefully they make more Final Cut Pro updates this year. Let's go back to the one comment about the subscription. I don't think anybody that works with Final Cut Pro would mind buying a new version of Final Cut Pro, like 10.8, to support the Final Cut Pro team. That's fine. That's fine. 12 years? You've paid once in 12 years? Nobody that's professional is going to mind paying again for a new version, but I think it'll be version 11, 1.1. I don't think it'll be version 10.8. That's just my opinion. I think version 11, whatever they're working on, is going to be another revision, a major update to Final Cut Pro. Highly invested in Final Cut Pro plugins, so hopefully they make more Final Cut Pro updates this year. I could see editing on a plane with a Vision Pro, wireless keyboard with trackpad at the table, tethered to a closed MacBook Pro. But wouldn't it be weird having somebody next to you that you look at them and you got these goggles on? Or the waitress comes up and you talk to her and order your coffee and you got these big goggles on. I'm sorry, that's too weird for me. I want to look at people and look at their eyes. Take them off. Yes, take them off, put them back on. I understand what you're saying. Why you be editing on a plane? No subscription. People would go to DaVinci Resolve. No, absolutely not. Thumbs down for subscription for Final Cut. Now, here's the thing. I'd like to see an iPad version that you can buy, okay? I'd like to see the ability to buy the iPad version rather than subscription only. But the subscription for the iPad is very, very reasonable. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. It is absolutely appreciated. So subscription for the iPad is very, very reasonable. Not only that, but you can get the subscription for a month. If you don't need it next month, you unsubscribe, save $5 for a couple of months, save $5, $10, that's fine, and then come back when you need it. And the good thing about Apple is they make subscriptions drop dead simple to do on the phone. You go to your iCloud account, go to subscriptions, and it tells you the date that it expires. It tells you all kind of things. So I always use Apple. I always use the iPhone for my subscription for the most part. Always. It's fantastic. So the iPhone, Final Cut for the iPad would be in your subscriptions. You can cancel it for a month. You can resubscribe, cancel, resubscribe. $4.99 a month is very, very reasonable. Yeah, I would pay up to $100 for an update to rotoscoping and auto captions. $100, there you go. I would pay for a one-time update to Final Cut Pro 11, but I will not pay for a subscription. I agree with that. That would be a dramatic, big mistake. I don't think they're going to do it. I'd rather pay for an upgrade when the software has enough features being worth upgrading to and continue using once the current version. I did the upgrade version from Final Cut Pro 4 to Studio. Exactly. So here's the thing. Let's just say Final Cut Pro 11. It would have to be a brand new version with all kinds of new features, a major version, not just an incremental update from the previous version. We want to support the Final Cut Pro team. We want to support you. Don't do subscriptions. I don't think they're going to. I never thought that. I don't care what people say. I don't see that. As an option, yes. Any chance we could be talking about the movie Slow Doc? There was a section where they talk about Apple using iPhones to lure users in. Do you think they want to focus on YouTubers? So, well, the Final Cut Pro team, here's what they focus on. A wide variety of users. Okay? A wide variety of users. Wherever the most people are, will get the most attention. Okay? So the most people certainly are not Hollywood. Okay? However, you got dupe detection probably because of Hollywood. So when Hollywood gets something that they want, it definitely affects the rest of us. Dupe detection is very, very handy to have. So Hollywood is a small percentage of users of Final Cut, but I'd say a lot of people are in the documentary filmmaking section. There's some TV production that uses Final Cut Pro, especially overseas. You have lots of YouTubers use Final Cut Pro. Those are bigger, chunkier versions. Final Cut Pro would certainly like to get into colleges and high school level, but they have a problem. The problem is that all colleges and high schools have Adobe Photoshop. Once you have a subscription to Adobe Photoshop, Premiere's thrown in for free. It isn't like they're going out and buying a Premiere license. No, they want Photoshop. Premiere comes along for free. It's like the stepchild of Photoshop. So, we can talk about the movie Slow Doc, absolutely. I know that subscription-based Final Cut is coming soon. Mark my words, based on solid information. It'd be a big mistake. Big mistake. Subscription is BS. They would, at that point, there would be a big jumping off of Final Cut, and everybody, and I would not blame them at all. Complete BS. They would have a complete, whatever you want to call it, pitchforks and torches. No, absolutely not, Final Cut Pro team. Huge mistake, and I'd be leading the charge for that, unless it was an option. Don Stafford, got to run. Got a client coming for editing session. See you next week. Absolutely. Thank you for stopping in. Resolve would win if that's the case, and I would be on the bandwagon. I'd be leading the charge. Let me tell you something, leading the charge. Who uses Final Cut on iPad? I think Final Cut on iPad has fewer than 1,000 users. Well, they probably have that. They probably have that. Elevated Adventures, new here to the channel and video editing in general. Found your stream from searching for Final Cut Pro for iPad tips. Seems like a good place to learn about updates and other good info. Shankti, thank you very much for saying that. So yeah, we talk about Final Cut Pro. This is our 50th episode of Final Cut TV and Coffee. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. 50th episode. We got 23 thumbs up. It's fantastic. 50th. Now that's a collection. That's not just YouTube. That's also Facebook. And is anybody watching on Twitter? If you're watching on Twitter, post a comment. I want to see if it comes through. I haven't seen any Twitter comments. It's supposed to be coming. That's just a joke, of course. From here to the channel and video editing in general, found your stream from editing. There you go. Tried an iPad. It's cool but difficult. Very slow editing. Yeah, well, you're used to the Mac, like I am. I don't need to expand my horizon to the iPad way of editing. I don't need that. I got a MacBook Pro. It's portable. It's powerful. It has a trackpad. I can use it with a mouse, whatever I want to do. So I like the MacBook Pro personally. What is this? There's a Kickstarter for another Final Cut Pro doc I saw the other day on Kickstarter called Off the Tracks. Well, Off the Tracks is already out. It's been out for years, right? It's I was a co-editor on Off the Tracks, the Final Cut Pro documentary. I co-edited with Brad Olson. That's already out. I'm not sure if there's another one. I think I would know about it. Subscription for people who only occasionally using a program is okay as long as the rest of us can buy it outright. Correct. Look, $4.99 is a good price. I have to agree with that. He goes, oh yeah, see, it's funded. Yeah, that was the one I worked. I was a co-editor on that Off the Tracks with Brad Olson. That's been out for a few years. It's a really good documentary. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I got thumbs up. I got hearts. We got the whole 9 yards. 2018. Yeah, exactly. It's been out for a while. Absolutely. I said, nah, it's not happening. They're not doing another one. I would know about it. So this documentary that we had, let's go back over here. This documentary, Cutting Edge, Moving Slow. This is out now. And it was out, it's got like 24,000 views already. Look at this guy.
Still underrated, even 10 years after its release, or 12 years now.
If you're a young person in your 20s in college, the world's completely open to you. Definitely learn more than one NLE. But no matter which NLE you use, I would say learn Final Cut. It's just more fun.
I think it's extremely valuable to
Sorry. Thank you. If I'm going to talk to you, has anybody ordered the Vision Pro? What didn't cut out, I had it on mute. Has anybody ordered the Vision Pro with the intention of editing with it? Good question. Good question. If I'm going to be in a room with a bunch of other editors, if everybody had goggles on, I'm not going to be looking at people with goggles on. I'm going to take them off. But if I'm in a room by myself, which I do a lot, I have this studio up here I have a nice size room and I have a door. So if I want to concentrate on things, I close the door. So that would be a time, if I wanted to, I'd have the goggles on, the Vision Pro goggles. But for general use, like on a Zoom call, no, you're not going to be on a Zoom call with me if you have the goggles on. Ain't going to happen. Congratulations to everyone involved with the documentary. Absolutely. It's a very cool documentary. Eric is very cool. We had him on. We had Eric on last Saturday on Final Cut TV and Coffee. He was on just a couple minutes short of 2 hours. So we talked all about the documentary. It's got 1,000 views, something like that. But yeah, the documentary is very cool. And what else do we have there? Let me just check on one more thing. No, I think that's it for as far as movies go. I think that's it, but it's a very cool documentary. I think Eric is at the beginning. Where is he? There he is. That's Eric right there.
Switching to DaVinci Resolve, coupled with the lack of pretty much any update for 2023, has reignited the fire in the Final Cut Pro community. I wanted to understand the strange feeling that I was feeling and everybody else seemed to be having. So I fired up FaceTime and called all my Final Cut Pro friends.
I think for me,
so that was Eric. He's the one that's doing did the documentary, did a great job. Yes, I agree. If person has vision limitations, Vision Pro would be helpful. Yes, there are purposes for the Vision Pro. I imagine it's spectacular to look at. I imagine it's really immersive and all that. But I don't think that I would be necessarily editing. I like editing on my MacBook Pro a lot. I was surprised that Bradley Olson wasn't one of the people interviewed in the new documentary. Well, he didn't. He got people that he knew. He got some people that he knew. So I guess he doesn't know Bradley, but we'll see what happens going forward. Why is CapCut mentioned in this title? Did I miss something? I'm a bit late to the discussion. I just recently got exposed to CapCut, and I was talking about it. It's got a lot of neat features that Final Cut doesn't even have. Now, somebody mentioned that, yeah, CapCut is TikTok, and TikTok is the Chinese government. They're collecting your data excessively. They're getting, a lot of information. So that's something to consider. So I kind of tempered it down a little bit. CapCut is a free app. It's a free version. It's got, for example, it's got text to voice. You can type something out and it'll have a artificial voice say the words. I think it also has text-based editing and a bunch of other features. It's got some, social media kind of thing, but it is owned by Yari said by the makers of TikTok. I wasn't paying attention to that. This documentary got me excited for the possibilities of updates. Absolutely. CapCut is so similar to Final Cut Pro, kind of amazing, though. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And I agree, CapCut will be pushing other applications to step up and make better updates. But anything that's free, there's a cost. Somebody is making money somewhere. So the free app is selling your information. It's collecting and selling your information. That's how they make money. But anyway, it has some good features, and I was quite surprised at how thorough it is. Now, I might use it on here for some of the things, but I use LumaFusion on my iPhone. That's what I'll be doing for the most part. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. We got a lot of thumbs up today, 24 thumbs up. It's fantastic. So CapCut, just be aware that they're making money by selling your information and whatever else they're doing. That's the other thing to consider. Yari brought that up earlier. So Final Cut Pro 10.7.2, I think it's going to be out this week, next week. That's what I'm saying. It makes sense to release the Vision Pro. Apple has already announced that there's going to be an update to Final Cut Pro to edit spatial video for the Vision Pro. They've already announced that. Apple has. Vision Pro is coming out Friday. It would not surprise me at all to see Final Cut 10.7.2 out this coming Thursday. That's when I think we could see it. Not surprised me at all to see it out this week. It has Roto Brush built in. The features are incredible. I'm interested in knowing if the colors shown when using Vision Pro is trustworthy enough to be used for color grading. As a Dane, I will know before I buy it. Yes. But I'm not, that'll be interesting if they have a Final Cut Pro community that just edits on the Vision Pro. That would be very, very interesting. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. We got 24 thumbs up. Fantastic. And one heart. One heart. I'm going to see something. Are we getting any comments from Facebook? I don't think we're getting any comments from Facebook. These are all YouTube comments. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, do some commenting so I can see if it comes through. It used to come through. That's a pretty big event. We'll definitely get a new Final Cut Pro update. That's what I think. It makes sense. They said, no, it doesn't have the same color as new Macs, not the same or perfect for color grading. Yeah, I don't think that I've seen that it would be. So that would not surprise me. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe over there on YouTube. All the subscriptions help this channel. So one of the other things, now if you have, let me just go over here a second real quick, and I'll pull this up. Now, you know what? I can't. Oh, there we go. Let me pull this up. Turn this off. Subscribe. I ordered it to play with it and see if it's even with the price tag. What are you using for your streaming service? I subscribe to Ecamm Live, and here's the deal. I send one stream to Ecamm Live. One stream. They send it out to YouTube, to Facebook, and to X, to Twitter. They send it out to 3 different platforms. I send them one stream. They send it out to the 3 different platforms. So that's what I'm using. So let's go over here real quick. This is something that I've seen questions about this. Is that what I want? Let me see. In the last video, I checked using the DJI 2 mic plugged into the iPhone with the USB-C adapter. In this video, I'm going to try it with the Bluetooth connection. So I set up Bluetooth, and then I selected the Bluetooth microphone in the iPhone's settings. I checked it with the Rode Reporter app, which says external microphone. Here's the important part. Leave the Rode Reporter app open. Leave it open. Don't shut it down. Check to see if your DJI mic is recognized. If it is recognized via Bluetooth, it'll say external microphone in the Rode Reporter app. Leave the Rode Reporter app open, and if you do that, you can use the DJI mics with the native camera app. If you don't do that, it's hit or miss. What do you expect in 10.7.2 apart from being able to do some video editing, Vision Pro spatial videos? Good question. Good question. Here's what I expect to be coming up in Final Cut Pro 10.7. I expect an audio mixer. I expect text-based editing with auto captions and some other features over the lifespan of 10.7. They could come at any time. Oh, yes. Yes. Here we go. Marcus Moore said, just commenting here to see if you get it. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you very much. That's my first comment from X that I've put on the third. Thank you very much for doing that. I wasn't sure if they were coming through. They were supposed to be coming through. Now I can see that they do come through. Very, very cool. I'm going to put that up there again for my friends. That's, to show that it absolutely does work. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. So it is coming. I do get comments from Twitter. I don't see any Facebook comments this morning. That's kind of odd. AI features will hopefully come for like rotoscoping. I don't know if there's going to be other big features. I mean, the Vision Pro thing is going to be, because of the Vision Pro launch. That's going to be the Vision Pro launch itself. So that's going to be cool. But I'm not sure what else we're going to get. I don't know. I just think we're going to get 10.7.2 Vision Pro this week. That's what I expect. I would say Thursday would be, thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I would say 10.7 is coming Thursday. Does the DJI mic have a Bluetooth transmitter, or can you do it via Bluetooth without a transmitter? Without a transmitter. Bluetooth, I'm sorry. You have to have a transmitter. You have to have the Bluetooth, you mean receiver. So all I need for Bluetooth connection is this one thing. I don't need anything else. Nothing has to be plugged into the iPhone. This little teeny transmitter, let me put it over here in my front of my shirt, connects to iPhones via Bluetooth. Nothing else is needed. Nothing else is needed. This is a transmitter. Connects via Bluetooth to DJI devices and to the iPhone. Probably to Android, but I don't have an Android phone, so I can't test that. But it absolutely connects to the iPhone without any other piece of hardware. Nothing has to be plugged in. Connects via Bluetooth. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. So, yes, that's another reason. So here's the things that the DJI mic has that the Rode doesn't have. Bluetooth connectivity. Has a side screen. Has haptic feedback. Has a nice metal case that turns on everything as you can see the batteries when you turn it on. A whole bunch of other things that it has. It's much smaller. It's much more compact, much more, it's not as bulky as the Rode Wireless 2. I was hoping the Rode Pro was going to have a smaller transmitter. That's one of the main things. But it doesn't have a lot of things. It's just like it's stuck with older, bulkier technology. Like I said, once again, I would be satisfied with the Rode Wireless Pro. I just don't like it. It's too clunky for me. So I get the DJI version. Both of them are fine. They both do 32-bit float, etc., a whole bunch of other stuff. But another thing is with the Rode, you need an app to pull the files off. You got to launch an app to get the files off. This, you just plug it in, hard drive shows up, pull the files off. No app needed. There's so many things that the DJI Mic 2 does better than Rode. Not talking about whether you like the Rode microphone better than the DJI mic. That's subjective. I'm talking about other things. So that's my preference. I had two Rodes, the 1 and 2. I sold them both when I got the DJI 1. It's, well, look, there's so many things. It's amazing. It's amazing how many different things. So besides the potato case that they have, look at the size of the transmitters. Much smaller. Look at the case. When you open the Rode case up, you can't see anything. When you open the DJI case up, you can see the status of everything, the connectivity, the batteries. Looks like you have a few comments on Facebook. I just tested it out. So here's the thing about Facebook. I think you have to comment on the original post, not on a... Let me go back and check on the Facebook page. Let me go back there. Because I think you have to comment on the original live stream. Let me see what's going on there. Let me see. Why is it not showing up? Yeah, I think Facebook comment test. Yeah, they're not coming through. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yep, there are comments. I don't know why they're not showing up. They've shown up in the past. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Here we got one. Facebook comment test. We got a comment from Facebook. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much. So we're getting comments from X. Most of the comments are from YouTube, of course. And now we're getting comments from Facebook as well. I don't know what happened, but they just started showing up. Thank you, Richard. Your streams have cost me money, but yet to regret my purchase made based on your recommendation. The DJI is definitely a possible future purchase. Now, here's the things. If you have the DJI One, which I have, I'm going to be selling my copy locally. There's a lot of features in the DJI 2. I love the DJI One microphone system. I've loved it. It's fantastic. Before that, I liked the Rode system. I had it for years. I had the One and the 2. But once I went to the DJI One, the Rode system is just too clunky. There's too many things that doesn't have. So now when the DJI 2 came out, it has all these extra features. Fantastic. Go to richardtaylor.tv and you can see what I'm talking about. So here's my website right here on the main page. Let's go back there. There's the website. And just click on the DJI mic versus V1 versus V2 and Rode Mic Pro. richardtaylor.tv, the same as all my social media. Click on that and you have the whole comparison of features between the DJI 1 and 2. And then there's some features from and this is a good video. This is comparison of DJI versus the Rode. Of course, it goes back and forth. DJI is better, Rode's better. DJI is better, Rode's better. They're talking about the microphones and the quality. I'm talking about the general clunkiness, how clunky the Rode system is day in and day out, day in and day out. So anyway, and then it has DJI versus Rode right there, bunch of different things. Side view versus that. The fact that it can attach right to the bottom of the phone, no cable needed, noise cancellation, Bluetooth connectivity, et cetera, et cetera. So just Richard Taylor TV on the web, and you can see all that fun stuff. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank the Final Cut Pro team. Okay? We want to give the Final Cut Pro team a round of applause. They're doing a great job. We want a continued release schedule for features for Final Cut Pro 10.7. Probably 10.7.2 is coming out this week. That's my best guess. And I want to thank each and every one of you, because you are the good part of the reason that I'm here every Saturday. We've been on for almost 2 hours. At 2 hours, we've been on the air for 2 hours. Look, it's all because of you. Absolutely. Marcus Moore, thank you. Not only thank you, Marcus, for showing up. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Tell your friends, tell your Final Cut Pro friends about this every Saturday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern. Almost 1 year. Almost 1 year. 2 more episodes will be our I guess February last year is when I started this. And I think I've only missed maybe 1 Saturday, maybe 2 Saturdays. So summertime is really difficult to do Final Cut Pro news. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. It is absolutely appreciated. Look, we got 24 thumbs up. Fantastic. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. You are the best Final Cut Pro live audience of anybody's live stream. You are the best. Talk to everybody later. Next Saturday, unless 10.7.2 comes out, then I'll do another live stream. I'll be back for sure. Very good. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in.